So all this week, towards the end of class, we've been talking about different pastimes, recreations, right, from Spain and Latin America. How many of you like to play cards, right? Card games. What? We're all from Michigan, right?
Euchre.
What? Euchre. Okay, I was just about to say that. Euchre is a game. Do people outside of Michigan or the Midwest play that game?
Not really.
Not so much.
No, it's a very regional game. So when I went to Spain, me and my roommate, with our host lady, we decided we wanted to play card games. We were going to learn some regional games. We were excited because we were going to bring them home and play them with all of our friends, which I still was excited to play them with my friends and family. But the difference is the decks aren't quite the same. So this, it's a French-designed American deck of cards. That's what we all use traditionally, right? Sometimes they have different pictures, but that's the design. This is a Spanish deck. Now, the Spanish deck of cards is more than just looking different. It functions differently as well. So it was quite a shock to me. For one thing, it has different suits. We have the espadas, or swords. We have the copas. We have the oros, which is this, or coins, right? Oros, or coins. And then we have the bastos, or clubs, which is we have clubs in ours, but they don't look like literal clubs, do they? There's only 40 cards in a deck. How many cards are in an American deck?
52.
52. So, are there some differences in the kind of games that you could play?
Yeah.
Yeah, what games could you probably not play with 40 cards in? Yeah.
52 card pickup.
Yeah, it switches into 40 card pickup instead, right? That's right. Another thing is I learned that high stakes gambling is not quite as big in Spain because unless you use multiple decks. Because otherwise the house does not have quite as much of an advantage. So I don't gamble or anything, but I thought that was interesting. The games you play are very different. But there are a huge variety of Spanish games that they play. Talk about that. So the deck has its own history. There's some interesting things. So it actually comes from medieval times. Do American cards probably have their own history coming from medieval times, right? What are the face cards?
Kings and queens. Royalty.
Yeah, it's coming from Europe. And the suits actually, and the Spanish cards, represent different classes in the medieval times. So the coin, okay, the coin represents the merchant class, okay, and then we have the cups, which represents the church, which was at that time its own class, right? We've talked a little bit about that. The sword, which class do you think that would represent?
The knights.
The knights, nobility, royalty, right? People with power.
Short sword.
And then the club, which class? Kind of. What does a club like that make you think of?
Hunter, farmer.
Yeah, the lower class people, right? The peasants, and that's actually how you remember which suit is strongest when you're playing games. They do it by the class system: the nobility, and then the church, and then the merchants, and then peasants. So you actually have to learn a history lesson to remember what suits are more powerful before you play your games. This deck is internationally used, not here though, but you can find your American decks anywhere, right? I went to Italy. I have family in Italy and Rome, and they play the Spanish deck of cards, and they were teaching me some Italian games. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Have any of you gone to other countries and played card games?